Hey, here if anyone is interested in working at Jazz Fest this year. I work in the concessions department, which is T-shirts and the CD store, and we like to recruit some Loyola students. It is a paid job. There's options for shifts. You know, there's the AM and the PM shift, and we're just looking for some helping hands. So if you're interested, you can just fill the information out on the paper, what your availability is. If you're not really sure on your availability, because it is, I think, around finals, just kind of put a question mark or what you think is best. So if you want one, come up and grab one now, and then you can return to Professor Snyder's office maybe by tomorrow or the following day, and I'll stop by and pick them up. Okay?
We'll leave them outside. We'll leave them on the table outside.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
So these forms will be on the table outside. If you want to fill one out, go ahead and do that, and then give it back to me tomorrow, and we'll make sure Alex gets it. Bonnie is here. Bonnie, you want to come up and talk about your situation? This is Bonnie Fasalo. Give her a big hand.
Hi. Okay, I work for Spotlight Broadcasting, and we have a couple of different radio stations throughout Louisiana, locally, and Tangipahoa Parish. So if any of you are interested in intern hours, if you want to learn about radio, there's a lot of different areas that we could help you out with. Come and see me at the end. I'll be sitting over here. And just, tell me a little bit about yourself, and I'll give you my information, and we'll go from there, okay? Thanks.
So that's an internship possibility for which you will get credit, and that's for marketing. So if you're interested in that, that's your thing. Anybody else have any gigs coming up we should know about? Yes, sir.
There we go. Hello. This Friday, the Wooden Wings, the Acadius, and Torgo, all at Cafe Britannia, 10 p.m., $5. Come on out. It's going to be really awesome.
All right. Anybody else?
Hey, guys. My band, Cute Machines, is playing for free tomorrow night at Cafe Britannia. We're playing with a band from Gainesville, Florida. They're called the Cadets. And they're on their way to South by Southwest. So you guys should come out and just come listen to some really cool music. We'd like if a lot of people were there. Show the Cadets a good time in New Orleans. So, yeah, it's free. Cafe Britannia tomorrow night. Doors are at 9. See you there.
Thank you. Anybody else?
NOLA Sound employees, we have a mandatory general meeting Friday, 3:30 at the office. Please be there, please. And NOLA Sound will also be doing a lot more trainings with our employees where we need bands to play. So any of you guys looking to have free random shows around campus or around the city, definitely come let us know.
Hi, y'all. I don't know if this is on. Hi. Is it on? Awesome. Hey, I play in the Coyotes, and we have a free show on Wednesday, so y'all should come out and have fun with us. So, bye.
What?
At Cafe Britannia.
What time is it?
Doors open at 9. We go at 10, I believe. Hey guys, I'm Christian. I play in the Coyotes. We have a free show on Wednesday at Cafe Britannia. Doors open at 9. We go on at 10. There's a lot of drink specials, $5 pitchers and $1 pints of Natty.
All right, two things. First thing, if you're interested, the Community Records Kickstarter has like 42 hours left, and we need about I think $760-something left to raise. And you get this really awesome DVD, and you get some cool merch and stuff signed by the artist for a block party, which comes up April 16th. RX Bandits. Second announcement, just added today, Marathon. One of your students, I don't think he's in here right now, is in Span Marathon. They're playing with Maps and Atlases on Wednesday at House of Blues. They're also playing tonight with Caspian at the Howling Wolf and in the Wolf's Den. So it's going to be 2 6 shows. Definitely recommend Maps and Atlases, Wednesday, Fang Island, Maps and Atlases, House of Blues, 10 p.m.
Hello. Lyrics.
Hey, y'all.
As of late, I've been doing a weekly release of music, and it's on my site, thekidlyrics.com. And tomorrow night, I'll be dropping tomorrow night I'll be dropping a song. It's called Infant. Features the homie Josh Gatoy. So if you guys want to hear that, make sure you check out dakidlyrics.com, DAKIDLYRIQS, and that's it.
All right.
Yo, if any of y'all are from Texas or headed there for South by Southwest, we are too. Sun Hotel, Native America, Cattywampus, we're all headed out there tomorrow. If you want to know what shows we're playing, it's all on the chinkapinrecords.com website, so check it out.
Who's going to South by Southwest? Have fun. Anybody else? Any other announcements? All right, John Paul, come on up here and introduce our guest tonight. Y'all give a welcome to John Paul.
We have an announcement of our own for a forum to give you guys. This needs to be a MacBook. All right, here we are. Nice jacket, John. Hey. Is there a reason I'm having a show? All right, here we are. Okay. All right. Next weekend, in this very room, Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're not doing anything yet. What we're having is a song and score symposium. The Center for Music and Arts Entrepreneurship is bringing down some of the most baller songwriters and film scores in the industry right now. We have the president of the Nashville Songwriting Institution. We have a songwriter for Timberland. We have some of the film scores who worked on The Grudge, Wounded Knee, and Austin Powers. So it's going to be a good time. If you have any interest in learning about these, you really want to make a showing. We're going to have a Q&A. It's going to be some TED-style-like talks. It's going to be a really compressed forum experience. You're going to get your music industry on. Bring your blazers. But we're not talking about that tonight. We are talking about the future of the music business. We have with us a man who's going out there right now with a cutting-edge business model for monetization of creative works. This is what we're all about. Someone getting off on their own 2 feet and finding a model that works, that supports the artist and supports the people trying to find music. Please join me in welcoming Mr. John Williamson. Guys. Hey, did you turn on the?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, John, thank you so much for joining us. First, why don't you tell us a little about what your company, the Music Dealers, does? What are the scope, the fields that they cover?
Yeah. Back in 2008, when we started the company, we basically wanted to create a company in the sync licensing space that's kind of built from the artist perspective. We all have artist backgrounds, so we wanted to create a space that would be some type of a platform that we would want to use ourselves as artists. So we factored in everything from like the possible reach to all of the possible clients, to not paying upfront fees, to just creating a platform that's friendly to the artists. So we created musicdealers.com, and it's basically a music licensing platform that bridges the gap between upcoming independent artists and music supervisors and ad execs and video game supervisors and things of that sort.
I see. What is your background? Where did you get involved in music? What got you to 2008? Let's start Music Dealers.
Okay. In probably 1995, when I was in high school, I'm 30 years old now. When I was in high school in 95, I started DJing house parties, and kind of that role, I was taking all the money that I was getting from DJing house parties and buying recording equipment. Back then it was a little more expensive and not a lot of people were doing it. So then I like started recording musicians and stuff in my school, and we would put out tapes and sell them in school. And then in 2000, I started a record label called Frontline Entertainment, and just kind of learned in the field, you know, put out records, learned from some of the failures on how to do things right. We ended up having a distribution deal in 2002 with Caroline, who is now owned by EMI, and probably put out 15 to 20 releases over a 4-year span and learned a whole lot. Mainly, I learned that I didn't want to put out records anymore. So in 2004, I kind of closed the doors on the label cold turkey. It was like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this. And I had an opportunity to start managing a really popular artist in Chicago named Juice. He's a famous rapper. He's the only person ever to beat Eminem in a freestyle battle.
Wow.
So in 2004, I started managing him, and we did quite a bit. We got a development deal with Interscope. I got to tour with, we did the first college dropout tour with Kanye. We went on the road with Tribe Called Quest, and worked with Timberland, worked with Eminem, worked with a bunch of people for that development deal. It ended up not working because of the artist. But during that time, I met my current business partner, Eric, and he had a business called Bandit Productions. And he had a bunch of like corporate contacts, mainly McDonald's through a big agency in Chicago called Leo Burnett. So I linked up with him. We became partners in Bandit, and kind of took those particular brand relationships and then built that into Music Dealers.
So it came from understanding of brands and how that can be applied to the greater music context.
Definitely. It's I think one of the most important things right now in music is becoming completely well-rounded. I mean, it allows you to talk to anybody in the space. So I know, like, during my day-to-day now, I'll talk to artists and record labels, and I have that background, so I know exactly what they're looking for. Or when I'm talking to a creative at an agency, I've kind of had that background, so I kind of know what that's about. Just being well-rounded.
So you have the vocabulary to speak to various facets of the industry, whether they be a supervisor or a prissy artist who doesn't really understand what's happening after she leaves the recording studio. You know all the jive, all the lingo to make deals happen.
Definitely. I think, it's just about that. It's about being well-rounded. It's about having focus, but being able to change your focus slightly to be able to like find a niche and get in the door.
I see. Well, if it's all right with you, I'd like to take a look at your website and talk about what the service is and how it's different from other services. Yeah, would you mind showing us a tour of what's going on? All right, let's see if I can get this working now. That's one of those tabs up there. So for us web developers, this is quite an extensive project. This has been in back-end development for how many years now?
Probably 2.
2
you
years.
Wouldn't be able to tell from the face of it, as I was saying before.
So what are you going to show us? The artist side or the supervisor side?
What I'll show you is the main thing that we developed is...
Sorry, Internet Explorer.
The main thing we developed is this tool called the Discovery Tool. So right now, our catalog has about 10,000 artists from around the world, and it's about 130,000 songs. And if we didn't have this tool, it would be pretty difficult to find anything.
So this is about letting music supervisors, letting people from the corporate side find musicians or find music that works for what they're trying to do with either their image or some sort of ad campaign. It's about linking those two sides.
Definitely.
Sorry. Everyone pray for good internet.
Let me see if I can just take a shortcut.
All right, so what are we looking at here?
Basically, it's based on a filter system. So what we do when a new song comes into the system, basically we created this language and we have a bunch of music reviewers. So very similar to what Pandora does with their Music Genome Project. It's all human touch. So we created this language, and it's like 600 different attributes and filters. And with this language, basically we're saying all of this is subjective, but this particular genre means this to us, and everybody who's going to review songs within our company needs to tag things like this. Mm-hmm. So basically you can go like this. You pick a filter, anything from Sounds Like, which has about 2,500 different artists that you can pick, popular artists.
I think we all want to hear explicit lyrics.
Yeah, you could turn that off or on. So, I mean, let's just start with something simple, like a main genre.
Someone just noticed the very nice Ajax website.
So you'll say rock. More specifically, what type of rock?
Religious? Can we go for religious?
We can.
Is this like The Price of Right? Are we hearing religious right now? First off, this is a very expansive genre list you've created.
Yeah, and this is just the subgenres of rock.
Oh, wow.
Again, you don't have to be this detailed. Like, I could just hit rock and hit go, and there'll be like 30,000 results or something like that. But you kind of want to.
And for someone who's looking for music, it's probably about balancing, giving them the tools to find what they want, but not giving them, you don't want to go through 5 drop-down boxes.
Oh, definitely not. Again, you can keep it as broad as you want, or you can get it as detailed as you want.
So it's catered for the the person who's looking to find.
Definitely, we have supervisors on staff, and I'll go in and look at their screens, and they'll have like 20 filters up, and getting very specific. But for example, so you can just go like rock, indie pop, and hit go. And we actually have a whole new version of this up on our development site. It's all like drag and drop stuff, so it's pretty awesome. Yeah, so you see there's 2,400 indie pop songs. And then you can, is this connected to sound too?
Yes. So if I'm a snobby corporate person with lots of money, I now listen to this, and I can now go through this whole list and find which one.
You can go through the whole list. Plus, we built it on a social network of sorts. So if you do a search and you're like, oh, the ACBs, I really like this song. Let's see what else they have. I mean, you could open up essentially what is their profile.
Wow.
And there's additional songs. You can see past and upcoming shows. We just try to create things that are like add-on values for brands to want to use these songs over like using a library track.
So, and would you say that's what separates you from other libraries? It's not just about finding a song in an intuitive way. It's, listen, this is a whole experience. This is matching up a corporate brand with a band, finding that synergistic relationship with an artist.
Definitely. It's about, we have like composers on staff, but it stretches way beyond the library. Really? Like we'll have all of the popular bands that you're going to see at South by Southwest, or we'll have bands that are performing at Lollapalooza or Coachella, or stuff like that.
Just so we can take a step back, I'm sorry, could you explain music libraries for everyone so we're on the same page?
Yeah. Music library is basically a company builds up a set list of tracks based on like work for hires. So they'll hire a composer to bang out 20 indie rock songs, or they'll hire a composer to make hip-hop instrumentals. Obviously, the difference between us is we have real working bands within the space that are, again, bringing that value add to the brand or whoever wants to use it. Like a library track will never assist in a campaign to go viral, but using a band like Family of the Year, right here, like we used on an Advil commercial, Family of the Year actually helped propel that commercial to more success than they would have got if they just used a library track of sorts.
So it's really about bringing the artist, including them in the process of monetization. It's not just, hey, give us your rights, we'll make you some money. It's hey, let's let's get famous together?
For sure. We look at all of the relationships we do as partnerships. So we have a partnership with Live Nation, where we have 11 cities in the country, and once a month we do an artist showcase. We don't get paid for it, but as we build up the resume of our artists, that helps in us being able to sell it in terms of sync. So there's all sorts of opportunities that we're bringing to our artists on a daily basis, like beyond licensing, beyond stuff that we split revenue with.
And just so the students know, this is something they can be a part of tomorrow.
Oh,
like it's open. It's designed for. It's not just for managers. I understand there's a manager facet of it. You can upload your band's manager, but it's totally DIY. Yep. Could you maybe show us another aspect of the website, perhaps how you would go about adding your music, or how did you what were some of the things you thought about when making the front end for musicians, for artists?
It's really tough to talk about that now because everything is so like back end heavy, and there's not too much on the front end. Let me log out here and see if I can get in. So yeah, when you go to the site, you can click on Got Music. It basically just walks you through it like a wizard. You create a username, password. You go through a simple contract. You do a digital signature. You start uploading music. You get assigned like a personal care rep within our system. They're kind of like our A&R reps that search out for new bands. And that's your day-to-day contact within the company.
So have you found that, what are some of the things that, have you gotten feedback from artists? We have a lot of students who aren't as their first base a musician and need to know some strengths and weaknesses about working with artists.
Yeah, I mean, every single day we're getting feedback. Right now, the intake of our music, we probably get a song once every 30 seconds uploaded into the system. And we have about 35 people on staff that take a hand in listening to it and reviewing it and things of that sort. So every single day we're getting feedback from these artists, and we're in the midst of this gigantic overhaul redesign that I'm talking about, and that's basically where all of that feedback's coming into play.
Now, if you can, could you sort of talk about some of the facts or some of the information that has really guided this next launch, this next build of what you think people looking for music are looking for? Okay.
Can I sit back down?
Let's give a round of applause for John's excellent web application there.
Thank you. So what do we think that artists and clients are both looking for?
I mean, as you're going through this next build, you've got a lot of information back. We're going out there. We need to know what people who don't know the music world but are going to be buying music, are going to be buying licenses. Where are they going? What are they looking for?
They're looking for ease of use. I mean, that's essentially the reason that we created the site. They don't want to. They just want to do their job. They want to have somebody assist them in finding the right music. We're even going as far as giving demographic information to these people now. So we linked with a couple other tech companies. There's a company called Next Big Sound that aggregates all types of user information for musicians based online, whether it's like pooling together like an influencer score from their Twitter followers and their Facebook fans and things of that sort.
And this is things that bands can use to find out the people who like their music, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just upping that side of data collection, and that's definitely what these clients want. They want to know not only that we think this is a great fit and this song works, but why.
So you can't it's not enough to say, hey, my band is awesome, here's my CD. If you're trying to get your music placed somewhere, there's a little bit more, don't want to use the word strategy, but a little bit more of a conversation.
Definitely. To take it a step further, we actually just acquired this internet gaming company, and they have a platform for a game on Facebook. It's kind of similar to like a Farmville or a Mafia Wars game, but it's all music driven. And the first thing we did is strip the whole thing down, and we're actually going to have our discovery tool like accessible to users of the game.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to dump in our briefs like into the gameplay. So like if Coca-Cola gives us a brief and says, hey, we're looking for this particular kind of song for the 2012 Euro Cup, we are going to put that brief within the game as like a mission. And then when we bring a song to Coca-Cola, we'll be like, hey, this is the song, but 350,000 other users that happen to be in your target demographic, because we pull all their information from Facebook,
wow,
they also think that this is the song.
So it's as you said, that next step further, giving business-minded people not just the, hey, my band's great, but here are some numbers from people who
right.
you're looking for that think this is good.
Definitely. I think, especially when it comes to commercials, all of the brands want to kind of jump on the train as it's already moving. So in doing that process, they're also trying to be looked at as a tastemaker. So I know Bud Lime actually did a campaign probably a year and a half ago with Santo Gold. And how they did that campaign, everybody thought like, wow, Bud Lime just broke this great artist, Santo Gold. But actually, they contacted the label and found out from the label, what artist are you about to put the biggest marketing push behind? And can we get out in front with this campaign right beforehand?
Okay, so that wasn't really, at least from the surface, not about fit. It was really strategy. It was these guys are going to get pushed.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few industry analysts who are saying the new record label is a PR deal. That, you know, what artists used to be looking for was a solid record deal that would carry them through, carry the day.
Uh-huh.
But now the PR deal is the kind of relationship you want to strike.
Yeah, I think the new record deal is aligning yourself with a brand that makes sense and works with your own personal brand. If you can find a brand like Coca-Cola, for example, I mentioned the Euro Cup. It's going to be their biggest media buy ever. They're going to they're picking a song from us right now, and they're going to spend, I think, close to $700 million on the campaign, from television to internet to everywhere. So basically what's happening is this unknown artist is going to get a marketing push of close to $1 billion put behind them. So I think finding a brand that you could potentially align with and get assistance like that, that's the new record label. I mean, no record label has ever put that type of a budget behind an artist. So
let's. I mean, we have a lot of artists in here who are thinking about this. You know, we're starting our Twitter accounts where we recognize MySpace is no longer cool. We are trying to find ways to present an image. We're looking for that image. From your experience, what are some of the do's and don'ts of music branding?
Do's and don'ts. Again, I think it's all about probably, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, aligning yourself with a brand was like selling out. It wasn't cool, and none of the major artists were doing it. Now artists are starting to see that actually it is cool if you can align yourself with somebody that makes sense. So
a good fit.
Oh, a good fit for sure. I think it's knowing when to say no and knowing when to say yes in terms of those types of partnerships.
So there's not, it's not the traditional politician brand creating. You don't have to go and create this identity that doesn't make sense for you. You don't have to, you know, if your music is about, if it's about some real stuff and you have to say some words that would fall under the explicit lyrics category, that's fine if you can, because there are companies that also support that.
Of course.
I see. Have you gotten much criticism about selling out? Has there been bands that have thought that this is whack, or have you had to mitigate that at all?
No, I think usually when we run into trouble, it's with like some of the older record labels that have been around for 20 years, like independents, and them not really understanding the space very well.
So you're still encountering, I would hate to say the word slow, but maybe backward, old school industry. This is, you know.
Yeah, and then Probably last year, we tried to do partnerships with with actually one in particular major publisher, and we actually had a deal on the table with an artist that had a publishing deal with them, and it was for probably a car advertisement or something, and I think it was $40,000 or $50,000. So they were going to see a nice chunk from it, and the artist would have gotten a nice chunk from it too because he owned his masters. And they basically said they'll never deal with a third-party company like us, so they rather just say no to the situation if they couldn't sign off directly. And the problem with that is the artist himself probably had no clue that that opportunity was even available.
And do you feel that models like this are empowering artists to be a part of that monetization conversation?
For sure. Everything that we do is like 100% transparent. There would never be a situation where we get something and we wouldn't tell the artist the full picture behind it.
So could you walk us through, let's say, a typical artist experience on your website? Let's say an artist uploads their music. What happens next? Yeah. What's step 2?
All right. An artist uploads the music, and the first thing it has to do is go through our publishing department. Our publishing department basically makes sure that the rights the artists say that they really have. We get artists all the time uploading stuff that they're not really allowed to pitch.
And what are some examples of that?
They may have a deal with EMI.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Right. So that's the first thing. It has to get cleared legally through our publishing department.
And that's just publishing or sound recordings as well, or
it's everything. We just call it the publishing department.
So any sort of rights that would be used, could be used, you need to make sure that the artist understands what they have and what they don't have.
Definitely.
Do you feel that there's a lot of artists coming to the table completely clueless?
Yes. Yes. I think probably when we first started, we had more. Now it's like as sync licensing is becoming more mainstream and it's becoming something that the artists have to get involved with because the rest of the music business is in flux. Mm-hmm. I think they're starting to learn a little bit more. But when it comes to like just the fundamental points of things as simple as publishing, people are they don't really get it. So that's something else that we try to do. We try to educate.
So let's say that somehow they actually had all the rights they say they did. Mm-hmm. What happens next?
And it goes to our review department, and that's where the people listen to the music all the way through and add all of these tags.
The tags?
Yeah, the tags so you can search.
Okay.
Yeah, all of the metadata. And there's songs in the system with like 600 different tags.
Okay, that's a very labor-intensive, arduous process. That's the meat of the service. That's where it gets all the filterized.
That's how we can find it.
Okay, all right.
And then once it's tagged and it's cleared through publishing, then it's accessible via the discovery tool. Mm-hmm. And we have sales offices in Chicago, LA, New York, and London now, where we have salespeople extremely active in the field, meeting with supervisors every single day, meeting with television networks, agencies.
So it's a real community. I mean, throughout the board, it's FaceTime, it's nice tools. It's really a people experience.
Oh, for sure. It's a relationship business. So we have people in the field really creating those relationships and giving us the one-up on anybody else in the space. Really.
And you feel that it is in fact the one-up. This is what separates us from those, music library just websites.
Oh, definitely.
Let's see. So the songs in the tool. Now, what type of clients are coming here? Is it just corporations? Is it filmmakers? What's the gambit of people who come to the discovery tool?
Yeah, it's everything from major advertisers to independent filmmakers that are in school.
I see.
So we in terms of budgeting, we kind of cater to the budget. It's based on use, but somebody that's making $100 million budget movie can access a song and it's going to cost them a certain price, and somebody that's making an independent film and has $1,000 budget for music can also access that same music.
I see. So let's say one of these users finds the music. Hey, that's perfect for our commercial. What happens next?
They contact one of our music supervisors and negotiate the deal and the license. It's usually pretty quick. Again, it's all standard. It's based on usage. So a car commercial is going to cost, a national commercial is going to cost X. A regional commercial with radio added on is going to cost something else.
And this sort of spectrum of exposure is just as wide as the kind of people using it. It's used in national movies, national advertising, or just this is a little project that I'm doing for my graduate degree.
Definitely, the level of our clients has grown pretty quickly because of what we're offering. So we do everything from the majority of the music in like True Blood to large Coca-Cola campaigns to independent movies that go straight to DVD.
Are you trying to find a particular type in that spectrum, a particular segment? Are you thinking about we want to just be for the big guys, or we want to just be for, do you feel like is that a decision you're thinking about now? Or?
We want the whole pie. I mean, the market space for sync is about $6 billion a year.
Wow.
And it's so fragmented.
And growing.
Yes, definitely growing. And it's so fragmented, there's not one company that has 1% of it.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of the opportunity that we
So this
see.
is the growing market in the industry right now.
Definitely.
Where do you see it going? Where do you see? What are the trends that you're banking on with this model? What are the things that you think are going to happen?
The trends, especially in advertising, is independent music. Brands, at least the majority of brands that we speak with now, they're not interested in attaching to a band like the Rolling Stones because of, as good as a large band with a large base can be for your campaign, you can also get all kinds of negative stuff associated with it too. Like the Chris Brown and the Double Mint Gum thing, for example.
Right.
When the whole Chris Brown Rihanna stuff happened, they had to pull the whole campaign, and it was an unbelievable disaster. So just dealing with independent artists that are kind of down here rather than media exposure up here, they kind of feel like they control the variables.
The companies feel like they have much more control over that image.
Exactly.
I see. And do you feel like we're going to see more and more opportunities for, I don't want to say younger, but artists who don't have those mid-level or high associations, those high-profile artists?
Definitely. I think last year alone, we probably wrote checks for over $1 million to independent artists. And this year it'll probably be 5 times that. Like all of the artists in our catalog are at a particular level. And we like to think that we kind of level the playing field for everybody. I think also the trend that you're starting to see is, I believe every single day consumers are getting smarter. Like every single time you see an impression, whether a print ad, a TV ad, the consumers are getting smarter. So maybe 5-6 years ago, a company could have a big star in their commercial and it would help them sell product. Now, if you don't like blanket that entire experience and maybe use a song in a commercial and then put your product in that celebrity's hand on stage at shows and be included in the video. If you don't have that whole like 360-degree experience with that particular use, it doesn't really work. So I think a trend is that increased, the increased like use with that particular artist. Does that make sense?
Right. You can't just, it's not enough to just stand there with a bottle of Gatorade and say, I support this. You got to be out there in the field, sweating, drinking your Gatorade. It's got to be, and the consumers realize that.
Right, and that's why I go back to creating real partnerships that actually make sense. not just taking an artist that has the same demographic as a product and putting them together and thinking it's going to work.
I see. You spoke briefly about the 360 dimension. As we get focused as a brand industry, I mean, that's not how this industry operated. It used to be, these guys have your publishing, these guys have your physicals, these guys have your sort of touring agent. It didn't develop in the same vein as an actual product where one company owned all of the rights to that. Do you think this sort of one company owning the entire monetization spectrum of an artist makes more sense, or are there ethical quandaries about being with just one company, sort of owning your image as an artist?
Yeah, I think record labels are obviously trying to do 360-degree deals because their main source of revenue is no longer valid, right. And it's tanking every single day. So of course they're trying to grasp on for anything that they can. I think the idea of a 360-degree deal with a record label as they currently stand doesn't really make sense. I think the only one it makes sense for is the label. I think, yeah, I mean, the only place you're really seeing that with right now is record labels. Like, publishing companies aren't trying to own the masters right now, and right. PR agents aren't trying to be managers.
Well, would you move to that? If you had the opportunity, would you think about expanding the fit of an artist with not just their music, but let's say you had their touring schedule? Like, well, this product is going to be pushed mostly in the Southwest. This is going to be mostly that's where this product's going. Your tour should be in the Southwest. Do you think there's an advantage for these parts to be talking to each other?
Yes, definitely. Do I think we would try to take artists and lock them into those particular parameters? No. But like I said, even as we're doing now, we're trying to add things on to the experience of the artist, to assist in our main push, which is music licensing. Mm-hmm. So
there could be other places where you might want to get into monetization of an artist.
Yeah,
it's maybe too soon to tell now, but it's been thought about.
Yes, I just think how big the world of sync is right now, and think that any other thing that we add to the mix is kind of a distraction of sorts.
So as students in a really entrepreneurial focused program, what are the things we should be thinking about now? If you were back in college, what would you be doing with knowing what you know now?
I would be trying to work in the field, meaning I would be jumping at internships. I mean, classroom experience is great. Some people take more from it than others, but I think just real world internship experiences, it can't be beat. Even if you're working for a company that isn't the greatest, you're kind of seeing every day what not to do then.
Right.
It's definitely real world experience.
And that's would you say that's the core of the model of being the 21st century music entrepreneur? It's that getting out there, seeing what's around, and making things happen.
Oh, yeah. I think another thing that I could talk about is just building a good team around yourself.
Really?
I mean, you guys are sitting in here, and there's other people around you that have the same goals and aspirations. I think it's linking with people and making the whole more important than the pieces.
And as your team, I mean, what you work with, did you struggle through that process? Did it take a while to find the guys that clicked? I know you speak highly of your partner Eric, but I mean, how many music dealers deal music?
Yeah, I think that's another thing that makes our company so unique is the team. It's basically like a family of 30-some people right now, and anytime we bring somebody new in, they have to fit the mold.
So there's a strong culture with working with music dealers.
Yeah, it's a a situation where somebody can come in as a song reviewer and move up the chain really quickly, you know. And we're all about like self-motivated people. Maybe it's because might not be the greatest managers, you know. It might be like, hey, here's what we want done. Now figure out how to go get it done.
I see. We're gonna take a few questions from the audience soon, but I wanted to ask you, what are pretty soon we're going to be looking for jobs in the industry. We're going to be the people, hopefully, that you're going to want to hire. What are some of the things we should be thinking about or doing that makes us competitive for working with someone like the music dealers? What do you think companies are looking for from music industry students?
The main thing that I think they're looking for is what I mentioned earlier. It's just being well-rounded. Like, if you're going to get into a position that, like a sync licensing company, if you know how the record label structure works, if you know how publishing works, if you know how tour management works, you know, it's kind of dipping your foot in every single area and getting knowledge around that, and then bringing it together as a whole. I think I would rather hire somebody that has that really broad base of knowledge rather than like really great at one thing.
I see.
Especially when running small business. It's everybody in our company wears like 10 different hats and does multiple things.
So now that we have an understanding of what it's like to be a part of something like this, some parting words. What should we be thinking about? Oh yeah, John Williamson told me.
Put me on the spot like that. Huh?
This is the wisdom moment, the nugget.
Maybe we open it up to questions, and that nugget of wisdom is going to come out.
Come back to the nugget. Anyone have any questions? Let's start right here.
We looked at, there was another publishing company that came in here earlier, and they apparently didn't really have much of a marketing plan. They were just kind of like very closed. They just work with a certain like circle of labels. I'm just wondering what is your like marketing plan? How do you get like labels and corporations and advertising companies to know about your company?
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Up until this point, to be honest, especially with our artist community and our clients, it's kind of been word of mouth. It's like when you have a good service or a good product and you start dealing with a couple people, it spreads really quickly. Like I said, we get artists to upload a new song once every 30 seconds now around the clock, and I bet we've spent $5,000 in internet advertising. So I think the answer to that, not that we don't have a marketing plan at all, but it's finding out what works, and it just kind of spreads word of mouth. In terms of getting new clients, we're finding that like building unique sales teams, finding out what works within that team, and then kind of replicating it to other areas right now. And because the market is so vast, it's just about bodies right now. Meaning, if we had the funding to hire another 100 salespeople, it would just continue growing. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Zach?
As far as the business plan goes, where do you guys make money in this equation?
We split everything 50-50 with the artist.
So like the actual sync license?
Yeah, the actual sync license and the actual 50% of the publishing from the performance.
What's included in the artist agreement? Do they have veto power, or
just kind of there's initial veto power, meaning you can say when you sign the contract you don't want to be involved in fast food, or you don't want to be involved in anything political. And then it'll kind of create an exclusion, and for that particular type of client or that job, that stuff won't come up in the discovery tool. But I mean, in our day-to-day dealings with clients, we're not pitching a Christian rock band to a client that wouldn't match up with it, you know. So we also take responsibility for it.
Back there.
How do you like organize what artists
Just make sure those viewing at home heard, it's how do you organize your artist so it makes sense to viewers?
Yeah, we have an internal rating system that nobody gets to see. And it's like production quality, sound recording, vocal performance. It's a bunch of different pieces. And then there's like 1 through 10 star ratings. And the search aggregates the highest overall rated songs to the top.
Let's see. Any more? Dimitri? Hold on, we got a mic for you.
What percentage of your artists actually get sync licenses through you? Like, is it pretty successful for everyone, or is it only a certain small percentage?
Dimitri with the hardballs, right there.
Yeah, I mean, we have 10,000 artists. We probably got syncs for 700 different artists right now. So the percentage is relatively low, but obviously the larger our client base gets, the easier it is. We're also starting to do like blanket licenses with networks. So we just signed a deal with MTV International, which is all of the Viacom properties with that too. So over the next 12 months, they have free reign to our catalog in all of their territories ex-US. And they'll probably end up using 2,500 different songs during that time. So that'll definitely up the number of artists that are getting used.
Any other questions for John? One more from Josh.
Why shouldn't an artist sign to a publishing company?
When you say a publishing company, you're talking like a major publisher?
Well, like, what's the benefit of not being on like Music Dealers?
I mean, if you have connections to go get your music placed yourself, but then again, we're non-exclusive, so you can still go pitch all the stuff yourself anyway. I mean, we kind of created it, so it would be like a no-brainer to get involved. So I don't know why any artist wouldn't want to be, unless you have all of the same connections we have, and you're pitching your music yourself, and then you wouldn't want to give up the 50%.
Well, John, we can't thank you enough for coming. Really appreciate you coming and talking.
Sorry, I missed with the nugget of information.
If anyone has any questions, just come up afterwards. We'll be here.